Hey all, this is Scott with Mudbug Adventures. As you know, you've been seeing a lot of videos go up. We're doing a lot of maintenance on the Jeep. Just things that had to be done when since we bought it, because it was a used Jeep. An 08, had 137,000 miles on it. So we did find things that need to be fixed. So in this video, what we're going to do is show you how to change manual transmission fluid on a 08 Jeep Wrangler. It should be about the same for all Jeeps. And we already cleaned up the transmission down below from a critical collar gasket leak that we had, that we also repaired. All right, so it's all cleaned up. Now what we got to do is, the drain plug is way up here underneath the exhaust. So as you can see, like an Allen wrench or socket of any kind won't fit under there. So we're going to manufacture a Allen wrench that'll fit that without having to drop the exhaust. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sacrifice an Allen wrench for this, and we're going to cut this piece out here. I measured it, so that'll fit in there, and hopefully that'll allow us to get in there without dropping the exhaust. So we're going to cut that off. Okay, so before we get too excited about this, we're going to make sure that that we can get the fill plug out, and I'm using a 14mm Allen wrench on that. Okay, so I got a breaker bar on here. That's really tough to get out. There we go. That broke it loose. So this is what I had to use, guys, to get that loose. It was really fused in there, but it's off now. I'm not going to worry about taking it out. I just want to make sure I get it broken loose before we go on. All right, guys, so here's what I made. That little piece that we cut off of that Allen wrench, it's 17mm. Put it on a crescent wrench. That way I can slide it in here. And we're going to work it on there. Like that. Kind of push up from the bottom, make sure it's in there, and then we can turn it and slowly take it off with it. It's real close to coming off now. Now this is a mess because of the exhaust being there, so get your oil pan and get it ready, because when it comes out it's going to be messy. I've got it to the point where I can do it with my hands now. Before I do that though, I'm going to come back up here and take the fill cap off. It'll help it drain easier. Alright, so we're just going to take the fill cap out. That'll allow it to breathe, and so it won't provide a vacuum. Make a vacuum in there, it'll drain a lot easier doing it that way. Big thing there was we wanted to make sure that we get all the fill cap and the drain out before we got too far. So there's the fill. Okay, and then drain. Oh, I'm gonna try to keep my fingers out of the way here. Go. We'll just let that drain for a little bit. All right, so getting out from under the Jeep, I just wanted to show you guys what I did. So this was a breaker bar. The fill cap was real hard to get out, so I just put it on there like that, and that gave me a long rod to be able to really break it loose with on the 14mm. Then for the drain, I cut a little bit off of an Allen wrench, 17mm, and I used a crescent wrench to hold it, and that got the fill cap out without having to remove the exhaust. And it's still good for something else later. Okay, so in order to refill this, you got to have a little pump of some sort. You can get these online, or even at like Northern Tools or something, and you got to pump it out of the bottle. And they make them so they'll screw on and fit different sizes of oil containers, and that's all there is to it. And then you just pump it to get it into the case. All right, so this is our gear case plug right here. It's got quite a few metal shavings on it. All right, so we got it cleaned up, and that's what it looks like without the sludge. It was a little more sludge than I was hoping for. We're not going to obviously rebuild the gear case at this point. We're going to refill it. There's no telling, it could have been in there since day one and never been changed. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to refill it. So we're going to use some liquid Teflon or thread sealant. We're going to put it around the edge of this, and then we'll go put it all back together. Okay, so we're just going to clean all the oil off before we get into the refill of this. All right, so we're just going to put the thread sealant on here. That's ready to reinstall now. And you'll do the same thing with the fill plug as well when you get ready to do that. Okay, so we're going to put that back in there. Should be able to get most of the way by hand. I'm going to use the handy dandy tool that we made. Obviously this is not as easy as if you had a socket that would fit up here, but it beats removing the exhaust. Alright, we're tight. Now we can go to the fill procedure.
Give it a second, yeah.
Alright, here we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to pump this in there until it begins flowing out of the fill hole. Alright, so you can see it's dripping out now, guys. That's what you want to do. Alright, so we got it cleaned up. I already put the Teflon on here, so it's ready to go. Screw it in as much as you can by hand. So grab your 14mm Allen wrench and tighten it up. There you go. Wipe your excess thread lock off of that, and then you can go around and clean your oil afterwards from your casing. So that was a process of changing the fluid on a manual transmission gear case on an 08 Jeep Wrangler. The process can be applied to most Jeeps dealing with a standard transmission. So I hope it helps you, and I hope you keep joining our adventures at mudbugadventures.com.